Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of the Smoke Room. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it for free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game and or get the news version earlier, you can go through Patreon, where it's $3 a month. So, on the last Let's Play, we confronted Jim about, him and Murdock having sex, because, oof, it's just quite a lot. But it seemed like Jim might, he does seem like a not great guy, but he might, how would I put this? It might just kind of be going over his head or something like that, or he might be subtly implying things that he's not actually implying. Not sure. But, I still am suspicious of him. And also we came back to the shop to find William here, who was looking for us because Nick told William that he saw us at the mines and maybe we were sus. And we were like, we got hit and can't remember things. It was a concussion. It could have been anybody. It could have even been Nick. Hopefully he doesn't suspect Nick though, because it do be like that sometimes. Anyways, is there anything else? Oh yeah, I guess this is like one of the few routes where you don't get any choices. None whatsoever. Because it do be like that? Though I guess there's also one in Echo that doesn't have any choices. I'd actually have to look. And that's for another time. For now, we start. After I set my face. I don't like this room. But I do what he says. He goes through the process again with me. Just making sure it all sticks. Do you remember dilutions? Oh god. No? That's okay. Let's go through it again. Fuck. I have myself a strong concentration of developing fluid. I have 100 milliliters of strong developing solution poured from a jar. I want to dilute the solution by half, by making it half. A quarter the strength of its original solution. Is it half a quarter? So that's like 1/8? If adding 100 milliliters of water to solution makes it strong, makes it half as strong, how many 100 milliliters additions do I need to add to make it half a quarter strength in concentrations? Well, let's see. You said half a quarter, right? I think it would have to be more than these. Is it like after the first time? If by adding 100 milliliters solution, I guess we do have choices. Never mind, but I guess it could be these. How many additions do I need? How many need to make it half a quarter? I swear I can math. I mean, if you... Well, he adds 100 to make it half, and then to make it a quarter, you make it 3, because that's that. So then you'd need to add 700 milliliters to make it half a quarter. Right? Well, 500 since it's the closest. Really? What is half? Okay, sorry. I'm used to be good at math. Half a quarter. Yeah, it's 1/8. 100 milliliters of strong developing solution I pour into a jar. If adding 100 milliliters of water solution makes it half as strong, How many do I need to make it half a quarter strength? I'm just gonna put 300. We're gonna continue this. I'll get back to this later. I'm sorry. It's just a lucky guess. Uh-huh. And I just stuck you. No, wait, it just struck you as off with the. No, wait, and I just. And it just struck you off for the nutritional benefits. Oh. Sorry, my brain's a bit down. It's like lucky guess, like, and I suck you off for nutritional benefits. What? What? Let's move along. I don't think I ever told you about overdevelopment. Not that I recall. Well, when you expose your photograph to light capturing chemicals for too long, eventually it captures too much light and the image is completely ruined. So, it's always something you want to avoid doing. Well, not necessarily. Sometimes you might find a photograph that you don't want to develop. But you have to give them the right number of photo counts in the reel. So, you've ruined stuff on purpose before? I'll admit it. Wait, is he admitting to ruining the incriminating evidence? Stuff like what? Mostly stuff I don't think I should be seeing. Or anybody should be seeing. Stuff like what? We occasionally get compromising pictures of sleeping women taken without their permission. And there are more pictures of unmasked hangings that I would like. And there are more pictures of unmasked hangings than I'd like. Hey, what do you mean unmasked hangings? Oh, you mean killing people. Okay. But any image that shows a pickaxe wound, perchance, would spend some time in the developer. He plucks a photo from a clothespin and string and hands it to me. It's the picture of somebody's wound. I know this wound. I feel my tongue getting dry. Put it in the first tray. He means the light tray, the light gray one full of developer. I drop it down the container and watch the image get drenched in fluid, darkening it, murking out everything until it's completely black. The image is gone, but the picture count is not. How does it get so dark? It's the light. There's so much information in light that it can't capture all of its subtleties and intricacies. So, it's all lost in the details. He's staring down at the image in the tray. His voice sounds strange, strained. Usually, darkness is what we ascribe to the occlusion, or the distortion of what's really there. But it's light that usually does it, really. Warping through glass, bending through water, splitting through stones. Splitting? How are you talking about, Murdock? I'm not sure if I'm having a stroke and I'm just not reading well, or if I don't know. Traveling through great distances in from outer space to power our plants, which we put into our bodies. Light comes to warm us, to graze us, to travel through us. He's muttering now. Some visible, most invisible. I hope you're enjoying this conversation you're having with yourself. He blinks as if he's suddenly a lot more aware of his surroundings. Right. He tightens his lips. Then he chuckles. Usually, when I go on about these things, Delilah interjects with thoughts of her own. He waves his paw in the air, usually rebuttals. He smiles. Sound ones. I wonder if I should tell him that how he was talking there was the first time he's reminded me of his father. But that's too cruel to say. Oh, 'cause we're rambling, even if it's true. At least for him, it's more of a passing thing than a constant. I want to talk about something else right now. I look at some of the pinned photos on the wall. It dawns on me that a lot of these photos in this room belong to the Briars family. I see a much younger Delilah on stage in front of the microphone. There's ones of Mr. and Mrs. Briars eating cake, perhaps from an anniversary. A teenage Holly is smiling from a typewriter. You mentioned today that you had a concussion once. Oh, I certainly did. There's Holly blowing out candles on a birthday cake. It was horrible. Had headaches for weeks. Weird, there aren't any pictures of Murdock here. Still do, on occasion. I guess one of them is, Murdock's brother? Oh, there's one. How'd it happen? I was a teenager. It happened during the summer. All I remember is that it was a fishing trip. Like this one? Murdock walks toward me and stares over my shoulder, then grunts. How did that get out there? Or out here? Anyways, no, not like that one. That's a happy memory. Me and Ralph were teaching Seamus how to prevent his line from snapping. I didn't know Ralph could be even skinnier. Yeah, I'm surprised none of the bigger catfish pulled him in. The fish and Emma were a lot bigger back then. Or maybe it was just us who got bigger. He smiles a bit, then it turns into a frown. I miss him. You said he drowned, right? Wait. That's the thing that I was focusing on. I was looking down here. Yeah, his face turned. We think so. Is there anything else in this photo that's turned? Nope, just his face. They can see at least. You think so? He leaned against the countertop. He leaned against the countertop and shifted from his left foot to his right. He and some of his friends stowed away on a steamboat they weren't supposed to be on during the 4th of July. Was he stupid? Murdock glares at me. He was 8. Sorry. They were going to set off some fireworks Ralph made for them from the lake. One of his friends said the boat got rocky. Then he tripped and fell and took a tumble off to the side. But not before his arm got caught in the wheel. Shit. They found his paw. Just none of the rest of him. Sometimes I try to think that he passed out and died of shock rather than him being awake when his lungs collapsed. But I like to remember him like this instead. It's the first week of summer. Honeysuckles and huckleberries are taking over the hillside, leaving the air smelling sickly sweet. Campfire smoke is in the air too. And pulpy pine wood and sharp nettles. Slimy fish skin too, but the catfish were good to eat when you don't want to go home for supper, so the struggle was worth it. I wonder how he'd remember himself if he were here today. Probably envious of an age where fish weren't as boring as watching paint dry. He smirks. Fishing is only as interesting as the company you bring. I cross my arms. You said before that you think whatever's happening here has something to do with it, don't you? He grabs another blackened picture from the developing tray with tongs. I do. Well, you never explained why. Maybe it's just an unhappy coincidence? I got my conclusion on the same day, Sam, or concussion. I don't think it was a coincidence. Sorry, I need to pause and read before I speak. You really don't remember what happened? Murdock puts down his tongs and stares at the wall, like he's deep in thought. No. And don't insinuate that I'm lying. I swear I can read. If I didn't think I could be honest with you, Sam, I wouldn't have brought you here. Well, I don't like thinking about what's happening to me, but I remember it. Then we had different experiences. On occasion, I try to remember what happened to me. Little pieces come and go, but there's never enough for a coherent picture. Might I inquire about those little pieces, if I may be so bold? It's a fair thing to ask. I really know too much about you without even trying, already. He shrugged. Be as nosy as you like. Okay. What's anything at all that you can remember that day? He taps his chin and narrows his eyes. You ever seen a Boy Scouts troop play capture the flag? Of course I have. That's the best game I've ever played. Well, back then, we used to call it flag raiding. Oh, he's looking back at me again. Me and Ralph, and most of the kids in our neighborhood, played it on Saturdays. Let's take a closer look. Yeah, he's just looking at us smiling. He was looking away up there before, and now he's looking back. It's those subtle things that spook me very much, because it could be the things when you're doing the game, or that you might notice it, or you might not notice it, like just spooky stuff. There's my face again. And check time? Okay. Me and Ralph, and most of the kids in our neighborhood, played it on Saturdays. But we moved this one to Tuesday because it was a holiday. And playing these big games made babysitting a lot more easy and tolerable. You were babysitting? My parents had dressed their best and went out of town. My mom said it was Pa's most important business trip to date, so they were extra stern about me watching over the girls and Seamus. During one of the games, I went back home to get some water. I don't know why I'm clicking the keyboard but it isn't going. Maybe I need new batteries? Who knows? All I remember is going through the front door, then feeling something hit me on the back of my head. Shit. Turns out we were being robbed. You're lucky you didn't die, you son of a bitch. It didn't feel that way when I woke up. The first thing I heard after waking up was him tell me about the pieces of Seamus they found. Ooh. That went from a small casual smile to a much worse smile. Whoop. And the back. A gentle touch, that one. Murdock shrugged again. He had a right to be forceful about it. What was that again? It's about the piece of Seamus they found. You don't touch that one. I don't understand that saying there. Shrugged again. He had a right to be forceful about that. Seamus was my responsibility. You were a child, and you were assaulted. I could say that. Or I could say that all of the worst possible things happened to align at the right time. I had to feel discouraged enough to go home. Oh yeah. The robber had to feel desperate or envious to steal my family's things and knock me out before I could see him. Seamus had to feel bold enough to break the rules and hop on the boat. And whatever else got into his head to mess around near the water wheel. Oh, the water wheel. Oof. So, where are your sisters during all this? Holly snuck off to be with her friends. Delilah was at an overnight finishing school. Finishing school? Yeah. So, how's that all your fault and none of hers? I don't think a chain event like that can really be anyone's fault. At least, not anybody mortal. Or it could be. And you could get just a little bit angry at people who contributed to the neglect. That wouldn't solve anything. Might ease the mental load. Doubtful. You know, sometimes I think I'm too selfish. Doing what feels good. Or who feels good. In spite of the values I was raised on. But then I talked to somebody like you, and couldn't be envious one bit about what selfishness does to the mind of a man. Couldn't be. No, sir. Not envious one bit. Sometimes I read these things, I'm like, I need to slow down so I can interpret it a bit more. The first time I saw you, I assumed you couldn't be envious of anything at all. But after we spent a night together, you surprised me in a way I didn't think you would. Oh, really? You showed me you want stability, and that you don't have it. And so what? My family gives me that, Sam. You really think that's gonna last? Well, why shouldn't it? Access to good food, my own income, a routine, a part to play in their busy lives, tending to their busy affairs. If they didn't need me, then they wouldn't make space for me. It's very simple. I understand what you're saying. I just think it's a terrifying way to live. Now, why is that? Because I don't trust your family one bit. But I do. There's something wrong with them, Murdock. They're nuts. They're all brilliant, actually. They just aren't always kind. I don't know. Like, Holly, I feel like she's kind, but then also, like, I'm not sure if she knows that her fiance is fucking her brother, though she might be doing that thing where, like, she seems kind, but she's also like, well, if I can ignore it, then everything's good, even if it's a bad thing. You know? I mean, that could be a thing. But then what about, I think, Delilah? She seems like a treat. She's like, I'm smart, and do smart things, and I teach children, and stuff. Anyways, now there's an understatement. If you don't trust him, can you at least trust me? I'll trust you if you face the possibility that they'll hurt you. What? Can you look me in the eye and tell me that they may not love you? Can you look me in the eye and tell me they may not love you? Sam, do you want my sympathy or do you want my trust? He looks me in the eye for a moment, then looks away. Well, Tell me they might not love you. He swallows. Alright. Alright, what? What you said is possible. Finally. That's at least something. I never said it's the complete truth. I just need to know that you can prepare for the worst. Preparation is one asset I'm constantly valued for. Though I prefer not to meet the conditions of those circumstances. But what if you already have? Then I'm already prepared. I just don't think that's the state of things. He didn't say much more throughout the day as he developed the rest of the photos. Nothing risque or gruesome, thankfully. 5 o'clock came faster than I thought it would, but my head is dizzy with the scent of fox, cloying, and chemicals in a small, warm room. Looks like it's about time to head off and go home. He turned around and pointed to something hanging on the door handle. Make sure you bring your suit with you. Also, heck, kind of reminds me of my old work at a place that I hated. It didn't pay as much as I would hope, and it was like, hey, we want somebody that works in this laboratory that isn't going to complain about, the way the chemicals feel. It's like, can I have a mask? I'm like, no. Here's a mask, but don't wear it. Terrible place to work. Oh, right. You sure you'll be able to get it hemmed? Because we can always go back to the tailor if we need. It's fine. I shut the door and leave the red room. I wonder how much Cynthia will mind me asking for a favor. Well, I think with us not hitting the 30-minute mark, but 26-minute mark, that seems like a good scene change. But okay. A 100 milliliters strong developing fluid poured from a jar. Solution, making it half a quarter. Because when I type in half a quarter, it's 1.25. So, if you want to make the solution go from 1 to 1.25, you add. You need 7 solutions of water to 1 solution of the original solution. I'm gonna go on the Discord and ask him about that. Because that... I'm math. I took Calculus 3. I mean, granted, the first time I took Calculus, I had to take it 3 times. And then, I think this... Was it the second time I needed to take it 2 times? But then the Calculus 3 I just took once. Or maybe it was Calculus 2. Well, I remember Calculus 2 I aced it the second time around, at least. It was really hard. It was a really hard college, but still, it was just like, And then there's Diffie Q. And then I think there's some other sort of math, though. Maybe that was just statistics. That is Yeah. Oh, I wonder what's in the background of all these things that are spooky. And until next time. Another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix, of the Smoke Room. Hopefully there's no more just terrible math things. So thanks and see ya.